Greetings everybody, this is Gaia Earth Goddess. I'm back with another video today, and I just wanted to come on here and talk about a marriage and something I've been thinking about recently about the role of husband and wife, because I made a video before about the role of a husband in a woman's life, and how when you become married, your husband takes the place or takes the role as your father. And the reason I said that in my previous video is because when you get married on your wedding day, your father gives you away to your husband, and people don't realize what that actually means. You're literally being given away to your husband. So from then on out, your husband takes the role of your father as far as your provider, your protector, and also your disciplinarian. So your husband is there to provide for you and protect you and give you discipline you need to guide you through the rest of your life. And your father is supposed to fall back in those duties because his duties are relieved by the husband. And so a lot of people got backlash in the comments, didn't realize or didn't vibrate with what I was saying, or did not understand what I'm saying. And that's fine, because we are in a society where people do not really know the true meaning of what a husband and a wife actually is. And so I remember making that video not too long ago, and recently I had a conversation, maybe like a month ago. I was on the Bigo Live for the Wives of Imagination, and they were telling me about how a wife's role is to be the mother for her husband. And I was thinking about that, and I said, well, yeah, because you're given away as a woman to your husband, and he acts as the role of the father for you. So the wife would naturally act as the role for the mother. And that's true, because you're supposed to honor your husband, obey his word, and obey his choices for you guys. And you also serve your husband, and you also care for your husband and nurture your husband, because if your husband is sick, you are responsible for nurturing him back to health. If your husband is hungry, you are solely responsible for feeding him. If he needs help with something, you are responsible for serving him and doing those things as a mother would do. You're responsible for nurturing your husband and things like that. You take over the role of the mother. That makes perfect sense, because the roles that a wife has to do fall in line with the same roles that she would have to do for her own child. And a lot of women says, oh, I'm not gonna baby my husband. I'm not his mom. I'm not gonna be cooking and cleaning for him and doing things for him. But that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to treat him as if he's your son, and you are supposed to care for him as if he's your son, and serve him as if he's your son, and take care of him as if he is your son. Like, you're supposed to take on that role of a motherly role with him and nurture your husband. Like, you're supposed to do that. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. A lot of times when women see other women serving their husbands as like their master, or cooking for them, cleaning for them, doing things for them, nurturing them, things like that, it was like, oh, that's a grown man, he can do it himself. He can do it himself if he has a wife. So that part of him doing it himself, that goes away. Just like if a woman is married, she doesn't have to protect herself anymore. She doesn't have to provide for herself anymore. All of that is covered by the husband. Like, the husband provides and protects. The discipline within the household doesn't fall on the woman. If it did before, it doesn't now, because now she's married. That is taken over by the husband. So yes, a man can cook and clean for himself, but once he gets married, unless you are injured or disabled, or simply cannot do it because of medical reasons or some other reason, or like maybe you're out of town that day, if it's nothing else like that, those things, cooking and cleaning and nurturing and caring for him, that falls on you, because you're supposed to mother your husband. That is your role. And a lot of women in our society have fallen out of their role. They don't know their role. They do not really don't know what to do. They don't. because we've been systematically taught by feminism to be strong and independent, and that women can do the same thing as men and vice versa. So when we see men who like for the women to serve them, we subconsciously are putting this label of abusive and controlling on the men and dominating on the men. When we see women who are like that, who are submissive and serve their husband, and like I said, serve them as their master, and care for their husband. We view those women as being stupid or slow or dumb, or how can she do that, or she's setting women back and things like that. It's like everything is backwards, but it's really like a man is supposed to take the role of your father, and you take the role of his mother, as a sense like you're not eliminating your parents. Your parents are still there, and your parents are still your parents, but the role is what I'm talking about. The role is what you take over as in that person's life, because you're married now, so you're no longer a child. You're not under your parents' care anymore. You care for one another, and you fulfill those roles for one another. So yeah, I was just thinking about that and how true that actually is. But you really do have to be a mother to your husband. And, I'm going to make sure I still teach my daughters to be wives and mothers above all else, but just really instilling that being a mother to your husband when they become married. So they'll like, no, but I think I'm already practically doing that, but I'm just going to do it more. But, I was just thinking about that because it fell in line with what I was saying about the husband, and it's the same way for the wife. It's the exact same way, because men need to be nurtured. They crave nurturing, which is something that a lot of them are not willing to admit, but they crave nurture and that attention and that emotional bonding, and that they want that from their wives, and they like to be served. They love that kind of thing because they subconsciously want that, and that's what the wife is supposed to do. But I was coming on here to just to talk about that for a few minutes. But I will see you guys later, and bye bye.